The Honeydew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the Honeydew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I'm Ryan Sickler, ryansickler.com, Ryan Sickler on all your social media. And I just want to say, before I begin anything else, I want to say thank you, for real. Thank you to every single one of you out there. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the fucking jokes. Thank you for all of it. I'm not going to talk about this now because I'm going to get emotional about it, and I'm really not ready to talk about it. But I promise you, everything that just happened and honestly is still happening. I graduated from a walker to a cane. I haven't even started physical therapy yet. I got a long fucking year ahead of me. I have to live with blood clots in my lungs, as I know a lot of you out there have dealt with this and know how scary that shit is. But it went sideways, and I'm here. I'm literally alive. We're going to get into all that in another episode down the line. But the reason I want to say this now is not only because I want to thank everybody, but because, I don't know, it's a weird thing. We recorded right up until Byron Bowers. We recorded, I don't know, probably a few weeks before I went in for surgery, and just had enough episodes to get through what I went through. This is my first time doing a Honeydew again. I did do a Patreon because it matters to me. You guys pay for that content, and we had gone just to the wire, so I was able to get one in. But this is my first Honeydew back. And like I said, we're going to do a full episode with me in a few weeks, somewhere down the line. I'll tell you the whole story because there's some good shit in there too that's funny that I would never want to keep to myself. But thank you again. I genuinely love doing what I do for a living, and I love this show. I love this community, and so many of you have wanted to help out. And I'm telling you, I don't want money for medical bills. I don't want any of that shit. Subscribe to this show. Subscribe to this show. I want to see that number go up, and I want you to tell people about this show because it matters and it makes a difference. And when you're facing a life and death situation, you start reading the stuff that you guys are sending, it resonates even more. So again, thank you. And that's all I'm going to say for now. Now, you guys know what we do over here. I always say we highlight the lowlights. These are the stories behind the storytellers. I'm very excited to have this guest here today. First time on the Honeydew. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Neal Brennan. Welcome to the Honeydew, Neal Brennan.
Good to be here.
Can't thank you enough for
Good
doing
to
this.
be here.
I don't even understand.
Ryan, great to be here.
Thank you. Before we get into whatever we're going to talk about, plug and promote everything Neal Brennan, please.
Oh, the big one that I'm I'm going on tour. It's generally if your city has a good airport, I'm coming.
You know what? Amen to that.
Not so fast, Charlotte. Not coming. No, we didn't have the chemistry.
Asheville, North Carolina.
Look, Asheville had a shot. Charlotte tried you twice. We don't got it. No Florida. You got a good airport. You don't got any Neal Brennan fans. And no Ohio. I could have done Columbus, just didn't. There's 20 cities that I'm interested in that are interested in me. Mutual approval and attraction. And so that starts in March. That starts in March. I think the first couple cities are sold. I think there's still in Nashville. There's still some tickets in LA. Go on nealbrennan.com. And I got a podcast based on my Netflix special called Blocks, which started streaming a couple months ago, where it's called Blocks because it's the things that make me feel like something's the matter with me and emotional mental blocks. And so Jimmy Carr had the idea, why don't you have people on and talk about their blocks? And a few people in the comments have compared it to this podcast, which I erased. But I've had Letterman, Dave Letterman's first guest.
I'm a fan. I'm watching, yes.
Letterman, Sebastian, Bobby, Nikki Glazer, Taylor Tomlinson, Santino, Ronnie Chang, and I'm doing Schultz and a bunch of people next week. So good stuff. Good people.
Well, you always take chances, and I like that. I like the 3 mics. Like I like the way you craft your craft. I'm a fan of that part. You know, a lot of people just get up there and do it, which is also great. You know, but I love the
if I did that, I would have come in 50th. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Sure,
like I could name a bunch of people that are just better at extemporaneously doing stand-up. So it's like, all right, well, I could come in, I don't know if it's 50th, but I could place, or I could do my own thing and win because no one else is doing it.
That's what I try to do. I'm just going to stay in my own lane over here and try to be the best in this lane. Yeah. So let's talk about it, because I like I said, I've been a fan of yours. I appreciate what you're doing over there with the mug too. It's nice.
What am I doing?
Putting it
on the coaster.
Yeah, and
I don't even know if it is for audio, but it is now.
It's nice. I'm a fan, and I know that going back, you were an atheist for a while, which I am. Mm-hmm. I grew up Catholic, you know, and that took care of that.
Yep.
You know, my grandmoms were
hypocrisy school.
Yes, very religious, into Catholicism. One of our aunts was a nun. Great aunt. When I say these are the older ladies in the family, but it turned me off to immediately.
That'll do it.
It's all it took. Yeah, like honest to God. And I know I say that not jokingly, but just listening to their message and then watching what they do, I don't understand how it's even still a thing.
I had a friend that was Muslim, and he used to make such a big deal about not eating pork, but he'd smoke weed and he'd drink. And finally I was like, hey, stop patting yourself on the back for not eating pork because you do all this other shit and you makes the whole religion look stupid. And he was like, thank you. That's a good note. Thanks for saying that. But with Catholics, there's so many rules.
It's easy to put a pork sandwich down.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many goddamn rules. I mean, there's so many you can't people can take a little bit of repression, but it can't all be repression. And it's anything that you're force-fed, you're just going to reject at a certain point.
Of course.
Once you get the option, you're going to fuck this. I'm not doing this shit anymore. Why? Because I didn't choose it in the first place.
All these good things that are actually, some of them are good for you. You can't do. You can't do them.
Yeah.
You can't do them.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, because you had a DMT experience.
Well, yeah.
The wind up. What's your upbringing? What is your religious
Catholic
upbringing?
School,
Catholic
12
school.
years.
Oh, you actually went to Catholic school?
Yeah,
altar boy. I didn't have to do that. I did Sunday school though.
No.
So you're baptized, confirmed, like and communion.
Did you? Do you do stand up once a month?
It was weekly.
I know, but it's like guys who do it once a month. Like, oh yeah, I do comedy. Yeah, once a month.
12 years of it. You went elementary. Man. Oh man, see, the guys I know that went to Catholic school were high school. You know what I mean? You went from
I got 13 years of education, 12 of it Catholic.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So Catholic school, altar boy, church, mass, kneeling, sit, all that shit.
Oh, you were also involved in it too, like that. You had to do altar boy stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, but and I believed, you just want to be good. You want to, what will win this? How do I win this? So you just go, I believe in it. You don't know what you're saying. You don't even know what you're talking about. And then I'd say in my 20s, I was like spiritual. And then I drove out here.
But wait, let me ask you this. What shifted? When did you finally let go of religion and shift to spiritual? And were you scared when you did that?
In my 20s, I moved to New York and was involved in comedy. I wasn't going to go to mass. You know what I mean? I wasn't wearing a crucifix. I wasn't going to, it was just like, what? So you just slowly, then I read like The Alchemist. When you're 25, legally you have to. And like then that was sort of like, I was kind of into that.
Were you scared? Were you scared to fully let it go? This belief that there's this other thing? Me too, for a while.
Kind of, yeah.
But you know what I found out later? I was more scared in retrospect of getting rid of my home phone in favor of only a cell phone than I was letting Catholicism finally go. I really was. I had more anxiety about
terrifying.
A home phone.
Yeah,
an answer machine?
How do I?
Oh my god!
So I just gotta like go to. It's in my. I just take it out of my pocket.
I'll have to go to this wall.
What will I do with my fingers? What will I wrap my fingers around? So what will I throw when I lose a bet?
Yeah, right.
So what about I don't want to snap something after a medical diagnosis. I want to fucking
slam that motherfucker down. Yeah.
I was in there, and then around 32, I drive out here to direct a movie, and I listen to the Christopher Hitchens book, God Is Not Great.
I read that book.
The book on tape is hilarious because Christopher Hitchens has perfect smug British diction.
Yeah, he does.
It's fucking outstanding.
I never listened. I was introduced to him from Real Time.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, like, because he got sick and died. Yeah. I think it was dementia, maybe.
No, throat cancer.
But I remember him saying,
Schultz did a joke about it that I hated,
where he said,
like, an atheist died. Believers die every day.
Of course they do.
Ding dong.
Jesus died.
Yeah, good point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Someone clip this and send it to Schultz, please.
Clip it, Kirsten. I remember him saying, look, if I start preaching at the end about God and everything, I'm telling you, I've lost my mind, or it's the drugs or whatever. Yeah. It's not me having this come to Jesus, so to speak, meeting. And I found that interesting that he planted that seed before. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't remember if he ever got
Maybe
there.
That's what's happening to me.
I wonder.
So drove out here, listened to God Is Not Great, and listened to the game. Something of a devilish pair.
Okay.
To listen to. And then here's a fucking great like flashback. So like 10 years later, my dad's dying. My dad's went to Catholic school, mass, raised all his kids Catholic, baptized, weddings, and he mentioned my dad had cancer, and he goes I'm not fighting cancer, it's destroying me. It's like I'm getting pummeled. And I go, oh, that's like a Christopher Hitchens said it had a bit like that. And he goes, oh yeah, I read God Is Not Great, I loved it. Like, why
did that blow your mind?
Yeah, it was funny because he was going to mass every day and reading God Is Not Great, and it's one of those like cats in the cradle moments.
Yeah.
That if but I still didn't like him. Sorry, it still didn't work. So drove out here, atheist, and then was an atheist from 2007 to 2020.
I mean, this is pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pandemic, friend sends me an article about ayahuasca. If this is going to be one of my ayahuasca podcasts.
I want to hear about it because I hear about it and
people. Yeah, I've talked about it on Rogan. I've talked about it here and there, but but whatever. We all have different.
But I want you to pull the fucking LA stank off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like you hear ayahuasca a lot, and I know where we live and we're full of fucking loonies. But I really want to explore everything.
It's
talk to me about it.
Here's the thing. Ayahuasca suffers from, it's like crypto. Most of the people you heard about crypto from were absolute douchebags.
Yeah.
But a lot of douchebags said, I'm Rick James, bitch. A lot of douchebags said, schwing. A lot of douchebags said, my wife.
Yeah. That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. I'm not blaming The Office, Wayne's World. Oh yeah, baby, behave. Yeah. I'm not blaming Mike Myers. I'm not blaming Sacha Baron. I'm not blaming Chabelle. I'm not blaming any of these people for creating a thing that people said, because that doesn't make it any. But it actually is like proof that it's great, that even douchebags understood it. Ayahuasca. So I get sent an article about it from a friend, and I'm like, all right. Someone had told me about it 5 years earlier. Great. I text him. He sends me a number. We arrange like a private. At my buddy's house that he was running, and we do it.
Okay, so you're not going to South America with a shaman or any of these. Okay,
this guy is technically a shaman. I've come to call him a rickety shaman.
Okay,
because he's My buddy was like little Starbucksy, that guy. Like he was white. He was like a white hippie and like, hey, well, I'm doing work out in Ohio, just like, My experience that time, the first time, was great. It was very pleasant. I said that it was like you drink half an ounce, like little plastic shot glass, like rinse your mouth out, like one of those little glasses. And then we all just laid there, candlelight, music, but very nice music. And my experience was, I told somebody it was like when you go in your room in a hotel and that video is on, like, welcome to the Radisson Inn. Yeah. It was that, but for like, welcome to ayahuasca. And it was like wide shots of the forest for like an hour in my mind, just like drone shots of pine trees.
Okay. Then
I cried probably for 2 hours about groups of people, about humanity, which I wouldn't have guessed beforehand. And like crying to the point where my nostrils are they're so inflamed, nothing's getting in or out. Just like you can't, it's just, it's bumper to bumper.
And you're in the same room with the other two?
I'm in the same room
with you crying?
4 of my friends, 5 of my friends. Yeah.
Does that influence them? Or does anything they're doing or feeling influence you that you're hearing, whether they're laughing or crying? Or are you literally like locked in and going through your own journey?
Your hands are full.
Okay.
You're not like truthfully, they offered a second cup. I didn't take it. One of my friends did take the second cup. And so we were all kind of wrapping up. She took the second cup because the first cup didn't do anything. And she went far off.
Yeah.
To the point where I believe she got a little possessed. I saw some possessions later. We'll get to that.
Can we take one step backwards and just tell us, me especially, what actually is ayahuasca?
Is
it a root? What is it?
Different leaves and roots. It's
two different.
Cappy is one is one of the names, and it's two different leaves from.
And is it naturally grown, like shrooms or whatever?
It grows in the Amazon, but the crazy part is they grow far from each other. The lore of it is 1,000 years ago, the plant itself told indigenous people how to cook it. Now, look, I know how that sounds. Look, guys, I'm coming into this.
Sounds no different than taking cynical. A rib out of a man and making a woman to me.
That's absurd. Now, plants talking. That's right on time. Yeah, so I get how insane that is. Having done it, I buy it 98%.
I hear you.
Okay,
I appreciate the 2 though.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'll leave it a little something. The angel share, as they call it in whiskey.
Okay.
Shout out to Whiskey Ginger, guys. WhiskeyGinger.com. Andrew Santino. So one of my friends, I believe that ceremony purged his mother's hatred of him up. You purge up things. You purge up notions. You purge up beliefs.
Not just thoughts. Some people do have a physical reaction.
Yeah, you're thinking it as you vomit. It happened to me once, and it's pretty wild.
You feel it moving through you? Like, does it feel like a toxic or a poison leaving the body? I
purged an apology to the earth. Again, just remember how cynical I am. Just go watch tapes of me.
Tapes.
From 2019. Tapes. You got tapes? Go to your VHS, your betas. That's what I like about it. Is like, I'm so known for cynicism that it's like, okay, this got me.
What was your apology?
For what humans have done to the earth. Just, I apologize for it. It was my personal apology.
Okay.
I've had friends purge up all kinds of stuff. So one of my friends got possessed. The spirits were telling her to masturbate in front of us, like pretty heavy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
told one of the other spirits told her that me and my friend were trying to assault her, just like she was possessed. It wasn't based in any kind of reality. And we're all just sitting there talking. She's still in it. So that was the first time I did it. And it was like, all right, that was good. Right?
How long does it last? How long?
That lasted 3.5 hours. Hers lasted about 7.
Oh, okay. See,
7,
that's
8.
what I thought was more. But this is
well, because she had 2 cups. The rest of us just had 1.
I see. That's right.
So based on that, private, I get in touch with another friend who told me about it 5 years earlier, and I'm like, hey, I had a good experience. And she had tried to get me to come to this circle out here where it's a bunch of people and that do it pretty regularly, and it's very ceremonial. And so she puts me in touch with them, and I schedule a weekend to go. And I get there, a couple of my friends come with me, and do you remember Real Sex on HBO? Of course you do.
Yeah.
Remember where they do these field pieces, these videotape pieces of, we used to call it videotape, pieces where they go like, we're going to a swingers colony.
Mm-hmm.
And it was people unlike any you'd ever met in life. This was like that. When me and my friend walked in, I go, Real Sex, take 12. But the hippie Lilith Fair version, white flowing, like kind of a cult looking thing.
I was going to say that sounds culty.
Yeah, it was super cult. You have to wear white because that's what they do in Peru, because Peru, they do it in total darkness, so you wear white so people can see you.
Okay.
So they using their ceremonial practices, they bring them whatever.
I feel like this is relatively new for people here, at least in the States.
Squares.
But how?
I've been doing this over 2 years. Just fucking squares.
2 years. How long does this go back though, for real? Does this go back to like
thousands of years.
The Incas and the Mayas and shit? Okay.
Yeah. When they talk about the medicine man, that's who they're talking about. They're talking about. They call it medicine because that guy would do it and speak to the spirit world.
I see.
Right?
Okay. This podcast is sponsored by Betterhelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things, but sometimes life gets you bogged down and you might feel overwhelmed. You might feel burnt out. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills so you can get closer to the best version of you. All right. You know how much I believe in therapy. This is a therapeutic podcast for a lot of people. I think it's important to not just exercise your physical muscles, but your mind, your emotions. I think therapy empowers you. It helps you set boundaries, which is something I'm really still learning how to do. So there's no negative in therapy at all. So if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, then BetterHelp's a great option. It's convenient, it's flexible, affordable, and it's entirely online. So you just fill out this brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can always switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. All right. So if you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/honeydew today, and you're going to get 10% off your first month. All right. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/honeydew. Try it free for 30 days. That's enough time to try and completely forget about a subscription or a service. Before you know it, you're paying for a subscription you don't use every single month. And with Rocket Money, you can change that with a few quick taps. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forget about, like that streaming service you bought just to watch one show, or that free trial that you never even used. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. You simply find the subscription you don't want, you press cancel, and boom, Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times with customer service or emailing back and forth. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year, and that is a lot of money. I personally do the same thing. Like I'll sign up for Showtime or something because I want to watch the George and Tammy, right? Which I did. And then I'm like, man, other than boxing, Showtime doesn't really have anything I want right now. And then you forget, right? Boom, it's another $12 a month or whatever. It all adds up. I know it. So stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/honeydew. That's rocketmoney.com/honeydew. rocketmoney.com/honeydew. Now, let's get back to the do.
First night, I drink and it doesn't. I have a cup, nothing happens. Have another cup, nothing happens. And do this thing called hape where they blow. I call it jungle cocaine. They blow they stick a pipe in your nostril and blow sacred ash, like sacred tobacco ash, like actual tobacco, like good tobacco from the Amazon, like not processed fucking garbage.
Getting fucking skull.
You're not
up
getting
your fucking eye.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like blessed or something or special in some way. And they go like, and it like you have to close your throat, and it's the worst thing I've ever felt. It felt like I was getting waterboarded with sand.
Oh, fuck.
It's like rocks in your head.
Yeah.
A lot of people get it. It's like a turbo button. It helps the ayahuasca. Like you get like 10 times the ayahuasca for 10 minutes, whatever. It's like the mushroom in Mario, basically.
Got it.
And nothing but old references. Betamax, Mario, videotape. And I drove my stick up to the ceremony.
Yeah.
Nothing worked Friday night.
Even
Nothing.
that.
No, I'm just
So
nauseous.
now you're just annoyed and
I'm nauseous,
not feeling
and
great.
not only am I annoyed, people are doing the thing of like, you may have a block that you're, and I'm like, and I literally was like, you got to stop. I've already done it. It's worked for me. And then second night, they changed the formula a little bit of amount they were giving me, and like, bingo.
So you stayed overnight?
Yeah.
Intentionally originally, or because it wasn't working?
Yeah, that's how it works.
But the other one was not an overnight,
No.
your first one?
It was a one-nighter. It's a one-nighter.
But the cult, where do you sleep at the cult place?
On the floor
Okay.
in a basically a Finnish garage. That's the thing. It's just like, this isn't glamorous. It's hippie-ish, but also nuh-uh. There's like, I'm just in a sleeping bag next to some dude and some lady. It's not, and they're not especially cool, especially glamorous, especially like they're just really regular, like fucking regular people. And which is great because you're all kind of you all want the same thing, which is some sort of connection you just want a connection to some purpose or some guidance or something.
It's interesting that everybody's literally laying on a floor and everyone's on the same level. You know, no matter who you are, you're looking for answers and a connection and hoping you can find it through this process.
Yeah.
And
And Theo's gone, Roy Wood's gone, Nicole Schreiber's gone. Like people we know, like Theo's gone more than once.
I'd like to try it. I'm always skeptic and scared. A little bit of 50-50 for me.
I mean, dude,
there's always fear in
It's
my
only
shit.
going to get scarier,
Yeah.
this story. Just
Great.
FYI,
Great.
it gets significantly worse. So, and second night, I'm like, I just hit me, and I was fucking ecstatic, like just like beaming.
Now, can I ask you? I ask a lot. I'm so curious.
Great.
Is it a familiar feeling like you felt before? Is it different, better? Is it? What are you feeling now?
It is.
Are you like, there it is? I know this
maybe
feeling.
the longest sustained period of joy I've ever felt.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Hour and a half, 2 hours,
Of bliss.
3 hours of bliss.
Wow.
And then, same night, I believe 2 hours of crying over a friendship to the point where I thought when I turned my phone on, the friend was going to be dead.
Okay.
Like that's the level of
You went
just
that
crying.
high, that low.
But it wasn't, that was also nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it was beautiful. It was like a connected friendship. So at a certain point, there in this ceremony that I do it in the circle I do it in, there's two different religious sort of like he's pulling from two different religious ceremonies. One's called Umbanda, which is a Afro-Caribbean religion from like 8,000 years ago or something.
Wow.
And
that number.
Yeah, I believe it's around 8,000. And another one called Santo Daime, where again the leaves are going to speak. 100 years ago, a guy is in Brazil and he's like a rubber trapper, and kind of a cool thing. Hip hop wise, kind of cool. And by the way, the guys is like 6'9" and looks like he's friends with Bill Russell. That's the only way I can explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you his picture so you know who I'm talking about. I
think there's a Bill Russell doc getting ready to come out on Netflix or something.
You ever read his book? Great. It's called
I will
Second
now.
Wind.
All
Fucking
right.
great. This is the guy.
Oh, holy shit.
6'9".
Yeah, 6'9". Yeah.
And this is from like 19.
That's also a face. It looks like it's seen some shit.
Yeah, he's seen some shit.
Yeah.
He would drink gallons of. So anyway, I don't even know if he did ayahuasca. He's walking through the forest and two, like, we'll call them wood nymphs, appear to him and say, hey, you got to spread the word about ayahuasca. And he's like, how? And they go, make a religion. He goes, it's Brazil. It's like everything's Catholic. And they go, make it look Catholic. So it's called Santo Daime, and they have like crucifixes, but with two beams. It literally looks like the Marx Brothers were like, the cops are coming. We got to make a religion. It's like a Star of David, sort of. It's so goddamn funny from like a comedy writing point of view.
When you look at it,
you're like, they'll never suspect. So, and the music's super cool, whatever. So in the ceremony, we do some Santo Daime dances. There's some, again, dude, there's a thing called the Celestial Court. They open up the room to spirits. Long story short, I open my eyes in the middle of this and I go, oh, I'm in the presence of God right now.
That's when it hits you?
Yep. Like, I can't explain it any other way. I'm in the presence of God.
Do you have a physical
I said it was like the
feeling
end of Raiders of the Lost Ark before the faces melt.
Okay, I remember.
When they open the ark and they,
Beautiful moment before
it's literally
hell hits.
The only dialogue is, it's beautiful.
Okay.
That's all someone says. It was like that, and no faces melt. So I was just like, all right, this is the first, this is what they said church was.
But are you
and it just
seeing
wasn't.
it? Are you seeing
feeling
things?
it?
Okay.
I'm pretty like.
You're present with eyes open. You're feeling everything.
Yes, I'm present with eyes open, but it's like they're a little watery.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a glot, but I'm still conscious. I'm still blissful. I'm still probably thinking about my friend. Like I'm in this emotional thing. And again, I go ahead and poke holes in it. It's fine. It's not going to change my experience.
Well, it's your experience anyway.
Right.
The person next to you could have a completely different one in the same room on the same drug. Yes.
And a weird thing, like my friend came and she was like rolling her eyes the whole time. Like, this is so stupid. This is so corny. And everyone does a share after each ceremony. And one of the people shared that she's like, I don't know. I had these visions of like barbed wire and like concentration camp. And my friend starts crying. She'd had the same vision.
The skeptical friend?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what made it change.
Yeah. So she was like, oh. And like a third woman also. Just like weird shit that you can't. I have a crazy story that I don't want to forget, but I don't want to tell it yet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna preview it. So anyhow, I'm like, all right, I'm in the presence of God. I don't know how I now, not only do I believe it, I'm like, I'm experiencing it. It wasn't like, oh, there was no light. There was just like, this is just, I don't know.
Understanding more than a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. More like maybe
but it had to be powerful for you to go from all this Catholic school of 13 or 12 years
to
plus,
overcome like the fuck you of that. Right. Like never again. And then be like, oh, if this had happened, I never leave. All of that was just like a game of telephone based. That's what I think now. Based on my experience, that's a game of telephone. There is a central creation force. But that's about the only thing that's right to me. Now, having said that, in this circle, in the celestial court, there's an altar and it's got the fake crucifix. It's got the phony crucifix. It's got a Buddha. It's got Jesus. It's got Virgin Mary, and it's got Archangel Michael. Again, something that I barely remember from Catholic school, but like whatever. He's big in this.
He's again,
and then there's and then there's Umbanda candles, and there's gods called Orishas, and they all have different names, and they represent the sea and the like, just kind of Greekish, for lack of a better word. Kendrick Lamar references them, not this record, but the record before.
Okay.
What's the name? I can't remember the name of it. But it sounds like Metatron. That's one of the Orishas that he references in his whatever. It's not a Transformers reference. So I know what you're thinking, and it's not a Transformers. It's an Umbanda deity that I have no information on other than like I know that they exist, and that's all I know.
And this you're drinking a liquid, so are they like boiling it? Is it like a tea they're giving you?
They boil it at some point up the stream. By the time it's not hot, like by the time it gets to like people in America that are drinking, it's not legal, so they have to like transport it in weird ways. So that's my first weekend. And
wait, let's go back, because I don't want to just gloss over that. You're feeling God.
10 more.
You're feeling God, though. You're believing in it now for the first time in quite a while since you've left.
Like genuinely. Like the way you go, I'm in love, and then you're actually in love. You're like, oh, this is in love. That other thing was just some fake shit to get a girl to fuck me.
All right. So are you
just trying to get God to fuck me?
Are you happy with it? Are you scared of it? Like, where are you
at this point?
At that moment,
I'm like, I literally was like,
holy shit,
I'm gonna. Well, the first night I drank it, I stood up, and the first night with all my friends at the other place, I was like, I'm gonna be a fucking zealot for this. Like, I literally an hour in, I was like, this is insane, because it was mushrooms. Mushrooms, you'll have like 5 funny thoughts in a minute, right? Like, this was like.
Wow.
And you're like, I was laughing like, wow. I literally said, wow. I was like, this is wild that what's happening. Okay, so I've done the circle, right? I did it with the people in the sort of ceremony. Now, you're not going to believe this, but some of the people in the circle had some ideas about COVID. And maybe some of them had some conspiracy theories, and maybe people weren't wearing masks in the fall of 2020. Yeah, and maybe we left Sunday, and on Tuesday, someone tested positive. And I was like, guys, could we test? They were kind of like, no. So I then went back to the original Rickety Shaman for a private with
a one-on-one.
Me, Ian Edwards, and my friend Catherine, who had the barbed wire. And that's where I drank. Well, you don't know the story. So we're just doing it, and again, nothing's working for me. Catherine's, it's hitting her, and it's hitting Ian. Nothing's working for me, and I'm like, so I've had like 3 cups. And I'm like, should I have like a 4th? And the guy's like, let me see your pupils. He's like, okay. 4th. And Catherine had been having a hard time. She was just like, eyes closed, like going like, and she literally was like, God, this is fucking taking a long time. She was just like not in good shape. And Ian was doing great. And my 4th cup, it's the oldest drugstore in the world. Like, fucking, this doesn't work. Let me get more. Whoopsie. And it was one of the great whoopsies of my life.
It was. What happened, dude? Because this is your 3rd time ever anyway, right? At this point?
4th night.
Okay.
And it hits me. I start seeing like watery, my eyes are water as fuck. It's like, it's kind of churchy in that, you know how like a scrim will come in confession, there's like a scrim.
Mm-hmm.
It was as if there was a scrim, but of like rattlesnake skin.
Ooh, shit.
Right? And I'm getting what I then purge my apology for climate change. And then my something that my good shaman refers to as brain dissolution happens, mind dissolution, where I think the word what and my brain goes and I'm like,
how long does that last?
A couple hours.
Hours? Dude.
Yeah.
You can't shut it off?
No.
You're just hearing
I'm
echo?
literally going, I'm going to be a fucking drug casualty.
I
to the
would be
point
freaking
where
the fuck out.
I mean, it was so.
You're stuck in that for 2
Yes.
hours now?
And
Jesus
I was
Christ.
like, to the point where I was so lost that I was going. This is how I knew. I should have known that I was in there because I kept thinking, if you're just joining us, what is anything?
You're saying that?
I'm thinking that. Like in the tone of if you're just joining us, I'm like, what is anything? What is any? I didn't know.
It's a great question.
It's a great question.
It is. It really is.
Now, okay, so I'm in world. What is anything? Then I get thrust to outer space by myself.
Is it silent then?
Yeah, but couldn't be quieter.
Okay, so the whats have stopped in outer space.
I'm just really overloaded.
And are you like out there floating among
by myself?
Not in a ship or anything.
No.
You're just out there
by myself, and the universe died.
So what happens if you're in outer space?
Saturn, babies, rivers, black holes, electricity, human souls, aliens. I mean, all of it, top to bottom, nebula, galaxy.
You seeing this shit or feeling it?
I'm feeling it. Okay. I'm feeling like
I get that.
We're shutting it down. And I'm by myself. And I started breathing. It's like a yoga breathing called samadhi breathing. And I didn't know how long I did it. Ian told me recently I did it for several hours. And the reason I did it was as a beacon in space.
To help someone find you?
Yep. If someone got within 3 feet of me, they could have heard me.
Yeah. I love it. I love that you were conscious enough to send us.
I'm not going out. Yeah, I'm not going out with nothing.
No,
I'm not just going to go out. I'm going to send a beacon out. And so that ends, right? I can show you a photo of the next morning. Because I was on my back and I got mad at the shaman because I was like, dude, I was in really bad shape. Like, and he's like, well, as a former EMT.
That's good to have, actually.
Not DMT. We'll get to that.
Right.
I can tell you that you were never in danger, which is like, I don't know if you can tell me that, sire. But you'll see how I vomited, and it's not a great way to vomit. You'll see it on my shirt.
So while you were laying there, you also, when you actually purged, you threw up on yourself?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. And I don't know if you can post this.
What the I'm just trying to imagine how the fuck you did it.
I don't know either. It looks like a fucking... Ugh.
Yeah, send that to us.
Yeah,
for real. That is, it's a fucking interesting pattern to fucking...
Yeah. So, and not an insubstantial amount of...
That's a lot of puke.
Yeah.
But not to be just...
Yeah. 2 streams.
Yeah.
I
wonder if it was nostrils. Was it through your nostrils?
No, it was purge. That's what purge looks like. Anyhow, so that's the next morning. I just kind of woke up and Ian said, I knew you were going to be okay. I just knew you were going to be okay. I can't explain it. I just knew whatever's going on, he's going to be okay. I was fucking terrified for 3 days in the world.
After that.
Yeah. I've never thought I had PTSD before. I was like, oh, I think this is what PTSD is, where I'm just scared. I thought glass was gonna. I was
gonna
like,
say, what are your fears?
Falling down steps, like kind of like the Omen shit, or like scary movie shit,
but
like,
irrational things, nothing you had ever done before or worried about.
Just like I'm worried about bad things happening to me.
Okay.
But like I slept with the lights on. I no idea. But a few days into it, I had the thought I had to go off antidepressants to do it, to drink ayahuasca.
Okay.
You can't be on SSRIs because you can get serotonin syndrome because it releases a lot of serotonin, whatever. And I had the thought, like the floorboards of my mood were sort of gushy after when I quit doing SSRIs. Like I was like, I could feel that like I could go into a pretty significant depression. Like the floor was there, but it was like,
well said,
not the most reliable.
Yeah, I hear you.
And after that bad night, higher, firm, polished.
Without the meds.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I think I'm not going to be depressed anymore. So that was great, right? But again, pretty steep way to get there, but kind of like I like fucking did a thing to my brain that changed my brain.
It's crazy enough out there. Weed shouldn't send your world spinning, all right? You got to ditch the paranoia and take a toke of something low dose and highly enjoyable. Dadgrass brings back the mellow joints of yesteryears to keep your soul light and your head right. Dadgrass is legal. It's organic, smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. They're 100% organic pre-rolled joints, as I always tell you, are my favorite, and flower are very low in THC, and they're high in CBD, so you can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. And if you're not looking to toke, Dadgrass also offers the finest tinctures and gummies on the market, all the mellow goodness, no smoke required. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and they ship right to your door anywhere in the U.S. So whether you're looking for a new buzz or a chill way to enjoy an old favorite, Dadgrass will leave you in a euphoric mood. Look, I know a lot of my friends, they don't like the high potent stuff out there, but they still want to enjoy CBD and THC, and I always recommend Dadgrass. I'm recommending it to you. If it's too powerful for you or if it causes paranoia, I get it. All our systems are different, but I'm telling you, Dadgrass is a very good low dose CBD smoke. All right, and right now, Dadgrass is offering my listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/honeydew. Go to dadgrass.com/honeydew for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/honeydew. This time of year, everyone's talking about making big changes, which is all well and good, but sometimes they're a little unrealistic. And I've actually found that the smallest changes to your routine can make the biggest impact. In the same way, you don't have to break the bank to make a big deal purchase. Even the smallest things can be a part of a big change if it's something you use every day, like my Raycons. Raycon is premium audio at the perfect price point, so you can build great habits without breaking the bank. All right. Now, I'm telling you, when I'm on tour, Raycons. Kirsten's constantly using her Raycons. I'm not allowed to say certain names on here, but I'll just tell you this. We like them better than anybody else's AirPods out there. She uses them at the gym. I was using them at the gym. I can't tell you how much I used them while I was in the hospital, all right? And not only are they water and sweat resistant, but the tap functions make it easy to flip through music and adjust the volume without even needing to pull your phone out. So whether you're looking for a pair of everyday earbuds, low latency gaming headphones, or a speaker with a battery that will last all night at your next party, Raycon's got you covered. Raycons start at half the price of other premium audio brands, so you don't even have to choose between products. You can get one of each or a pair and a spare and still pay less than you would with some of the other guys. Even if you know you'll love your Raycons as much as I do, Raycon wants to make sure you feel great about your purchase. They offer buy now, pay later options, and every purchase has an easy and free return guarantee. I'm telling you, it's worth it, all right? So if you're ready to buy something small with a big impact, go to buyraycon.com/honeydew today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com, buyraycon.com/honeydew to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com/honeydew. Now, let's get back to the do.
Okay, so now I didn't hold it against ayahuasca that night. I held it against the rickety shaman.
Fair enough.
And
you also did 4 shots. Was it 4?
Yeah. So I was basically like a bachelorette. And yeah, like I'm not blaming the
100%.
So I'm like the guy who wanted to sue Vegas.
Yeah, sue Vegas.
So a couple days later, I go to more ceremonies with like I get vaxxed early, like wait in line overnight and all that shit. So I get vaxxed mostly so I could do more ayahuasca, and because it's not like a ton going on, and get vaxxed, go to another ceremony. Next several ceremonies were real tough because
in what way?
Because I'd had this bad experience, so now I'm like,
are you mental battling yourself?
Yeah. One point, my heart started racing really fast. Maybe the same ceremony, I heard a tiger in the room.
Oh, dude, fuck that. That's
like acoustically, there's a tiger in the room.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And a baby tiger comes around the altar. And it's the only time in my life I went, like in my life. Girls will do it twice a week. Knocking a girl's bathroom door without telling her. And she's that's the only time, baby tiger, like fucking not doing good. But I also felt in one of those ceremonies, I always felt like I had like a heaviness. Like there was like lead on, like I had a lead helmet on my head, like just like a heaviness to my spirit. And in one of those ceremonies, I just felt like pressure, like air pressure, take it off. But also next ceremony, I thought the rapture came. Thought it was the rapture. I'm like, this is it. This is the rapture.
You're going through all kinds of things in each one.
Yes.
It's not consistent in any way for you.
No.
But you're not so nervous about it that you're like, all right, fuck this. You're still going back.
Somebody said, why are you doing this? I was like, I met God.
Yeah.
What else am I going to do?
But see, that sounds also just same way like junkie fucking mentality is.
Man,
put that heroin in. I met fucking God.
But it's not like getting my dick sucked, but it's not that. It's literally like, dude,
so is that what you're looking for every time you go back? Then?
Yeah. Well, you're communing with a palpable higher power, not imaginary. It's like,
and not the universe, because you saw the universe die. So it's bigger than the universe.
It came back.
So is it love?
They didn't kill the universe.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
They didn't get it. Yeah. He ducked. The universe ducked. No, you're just you're like, you feel connected to all living beings ever, maybe. And higher
let's
power.
go back to how Neal feel for just a moment.
Thank you very much.
What are you searching out now that you've got these 3-4 under your belt? Are you going for more answers?
Well, now I'm looking for
things?
Now I'm also seeing it as like a top off for depression, for like staving off depression, because I can't take SSRIs, or I stopped taking SSRIs.
And your mood for depression was good during that time as well?
Yeah, it was good, but I didn't want to not do Aya for 3 months and it dips. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that, but really hard, like tigers, rapture, just rough shit.
And what are your gaps in between? Days, week at a time? Weeks.
Yeah, maybe once a month. Maybe.
Okay.
So I maybe go another weekend that's like 3 nights.
I mean, 3 weeks is a long time to be off of meds and still feel okay from one session of ayahuasca. So that is impressive to me too.
But sometimes it was 2 months probably. Like it was a bunch. I really gave up on that coaster, huh?
You don't have to put it there.
So and then around the maybe lifetime, my 8th ceremony, I'm kind of out of the PTSD zone, and they do the celestial court, or the angelic court as it's known. They literally play Calling All Angels. They play the song Calling All Angels to open the celestial court. It's nauseating. As a snob, as a cultural snob, you're like, you can't play Calling. It's a little on the nose. No, but it works. So anyway, I'm in ceremony, and I start 2-3 hours in. Start doing this. I'm not really controlling it. It's just like,
but you're aware of it.
Yeah. And for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours.
What?
My body's just doing this, right?
Just lightly seizing, shaking,
it's just rocking.
Shaking,
I don't know. Yeah,
rocking's good. Okay, I get that.
And a woman walks past named Lucia. I sound like a goofball, but I still did all the shit I did. Yeah,
this is what happened.
I still got Netflix, man. I got a TV show. All that shit. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. And a woman walks past named Lucia, dancing. There's really great music, and it hits you nice. And she's like Brazilian, anyways. She's a good dancer, and I do like the joke thing. By the way, I can write jokes on it. I've written jokes that worked on.
You have?
Yes.
Okay.
Funny mean tags.
So you're also
like,
mentally clear for sure.
Yeah, you're not like, no,
sure.
right. I'm mostly there. And Lucia walks past dancing, and I'm rocking, and I jokingly think, one of these days I'm gonna start dancing like Lucia. Like, you know what? I'm gonna get in shape. It's like that tone. Like, I'm gonna start dancing like Lucia. I think that, and immediately I start doing what she was doing, and I'm not in control of it.
You got up and danced?
I didn't get up at that point. I just arms
mimicking
started
her
doing shit. And
is she like looking at you? Is like there an energy connection?
No, but like I picked it up.
Mm-hmm. That's wild. You're reading some physical cues from somebody else instead of verbal.
Yeah, and then that whole night I got up and I'm doing shit that I'm not in control. There's angels in the outfield.
I mean, you don't strike me as a dancer.
I don't strike you as a dancer, but
did you nail it?
Bet against me.
What would you have put your money before that?
No, I can dance. I'm fucking comics. It's all rhythm. And pretty much every time I've done ayahuasca since or mushrooms, or I did MDMA recently, and I go into this fucking weird spasm. They're called I think they're called mudras. It's in Indian. It's in another fucking Buddhism, not Buddhism, Hindu, whatever.
But it seems to be a comfort level.
It's not uncomfortable. It's just weird. It's weird, but I'm not like, what's going on? I'm just like, I just let my mind go blank, and my body just does shit. And so that was up. That's sort of the story until July 2021.
Okay.
And then I started going. Then I went to New York to do what became the Blocks Netflix thing. And so I'm in New York. I don't have a circle to do it there. Someone tells me about they have access to Bufo 5-MeO DMT, the one that you smoke, like DMT. Now, the active ingredient in ayahuasca is DMT.
Is that right?
Yeah, but it's like in tea. So your body metabolizes it way slower. You smoke it, it's crack, right?
Right. Now, can I ask you, because I think a lot of people are surprised. I don't really do. I'm weed and shrooms. Mm-hmm. Like I'm none of these pills. Like even when I was in the hospital, they would mention these pills, and I'm like, what? And they would get annoyed with me almost that I didn't know this. It's oxy, and I'm I don't know. I don't do these things. I don't know. I hate those things. DMT.
And they show you a picture of Lil Wayne. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. DMT, is it not a chemical your body releases as you die?
Apparently, it's the chemical your body releases when you die. They can't prove that, I don't believe, but they suspect that that's what happened.
So that's what we're talking about. I'm not far off. All right, I got it. But is this also something that's natural to
it's
Earth?
In toad venom or secretions.
So some animals
Sonoran toad.
Got it.
They scrape
the one where the animals lick its back and start tripping and shit,
basically,
or whatever when they go eat it.
Yes, it's like in that family. They put it. They literally milk them onto glass. It dries. Then it flakes, and you smoke that.
But it's the active ingredient in ayahuasca
is in DMT. But this is pure 5-MeO. Ain't nothing there but DMT. Go ahead, smoke it. Always struck me as too severe. I was like, it sounds severe.
Yeah.
I'd heard Michael Pollan talk about it on Rogan's show, and I was like, it seems too severe.
And how much are we talking when we're talking? We talking a little bit?
You're talking about like
drops?
Salt, like a bunch of, like nothing.
Nothing.
But I get, they're like, hey, you want to do it? They have an opening tomorrow night if you want to go.
Okay, so this is also regulated in the sense that there's someone that'll guide you for this, too.
Yeah,
this
but
isn't,
again,
we're sitting in a
you're
circle
so
backstage.
far gone. People smoke it in vapes, apparently, it's not bufo, it's not 5-MeO, it's like a different type of DMT. I've seen people do it. They seem okay. When I tell you the story, you'll never do it. So, I go to this is November 1st, 2022. No, 2021. November 1st, 2021. I go at 8 o'clock to a hotel room in New York, and I basically sit there. It's a guy who's like sort of in charge. Not even a shaman. He's just like, it's great. It's wonderful. I do it. You smoke, you go, and you literally fall back. Like and I went to what Michael Pollan described on Rogan's show as going to a place before the Big Bang.
Okay.
That's how far back this feels. My experience of it was I'm basically an amoeba. I don't know direction. I don't know breathing. I know exactly nothing. And I must have been in there because I'm panicking. Because you don't know. It's like, it felt like the first moment of consciousness.
Wow. Fuck.
Consciousness.
Hold on a second. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting because our first moments of consciousness, we don't even remember.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you have a feeling of that?
Yeah.
But that's all you have. Nothing else makes sense to you.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
You just know you're present.
I am awake. I'm on. I've been switched on.
Yeah.
Whatever I am has been switched on. And I remember feeling like I formed a synapse. And I also remember hearing the term, or I don't know where, God's not here yet. Yeah,
right. And does that mean he's coming in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Or like you're so new to everything,
I don't know.
Big Bang, right? Yeah.
So this is, I'm like,
this is a completely different experience already.
Like, I'm not I don't even know what a person is.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. And then slowly but surely over the next 30 minutes, your consciousness comes back. But
it was feel like
pretty
it's
cool.
New?
It felt like I was rebuilding myself.
Okay.
And
not discovering that I have this part and stuff. It
was like, when I say rebuilding, it was more like, because I'd have a petty thought and I'd be like, no, we're not doing that anymore. And I was beaming. I was like, because it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's happening. You're like laying and you're going like, I don't want to be that. And you feel really connected. Like it just feels like a different consciousness or a different experience of sentience or life or whatever. So I inhale at 9, I'm walking home. I inhaled at 8, I'm walking home at 9.
Really?
Yeah. The guy offered me a second hit. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, people do another one? So I'm
how
walking
do you feel
home.
on the walk home? Yeah. What are you thinking
I feel like clean. You ever do LSD?
No. Shrooms.
I haven't done it forever.
I'm scared.
But there's like a feeling after LSD where you're like, your brain feels pretty clean. My brain felt pretty clean. This is on November 1st. I believe it's a Monday. And so I do my show that week, and I still feel like myself.
So wait, you shot the special?
No, I'm just doing it live.
I was going to say.
Doing it in like a theater. I felt like myself. And Saturday night, the 6th or 7th or whatever, Ryan Hamilton comes. And it was really fun to do because I could hear him laughing. And it's like doing an hour and I can hear Hamilton, what he's laughing at. And it was like crowded and it was great. We're walking home and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not an atheist anymore. And he grew up Mormon. So I'm like, hey, and he's like, I might not believe in you. And we're walking home. And as I'm telling him about DMT and ayahuasca, I can feel myself like drifting a little bit into that white void DMT world. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. But I'm like, yeah, talking. I go upstairs to my apartment that I'm staying in, and I watch the Linda Ronstadt documentary on HBO Plus. Sold 80 million records. I had no idea. 80 million records.
I wouldn't have guessed that number.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I would not have
guessed
that.
It's what was so great about the documentary.
Insane.
She also has one
before
of my...
the internet.
Yeah, man. Because she sold them on vinyl and 8-track and like she sold them on different formats.
80 million.
Yeah. And I'm like drifting into this DMT world, and I'm like, I gotta get to sleep because this is getting weird. Where I'm like halfway between alive and that. And
do you feel like you could slip into that side if you let yourself go?
Yeah. And I wake up the next day, still drifting. And now I'm like, it's worse. I go on a coffee date with a woman, and at one point, like, all I can say is like my consciousness is disintegrating. I'm like, imagine talking to me and like this is becoming white static. I think I would describe it as pre-psychotic.
Damn. Okay.
I believe. Again, never been psychotic, but my friend of mine helped me, and she'd been psychotic at one point. She was explaining like, oh, okay, like so. And she said I was just scared. I was like, I don't know what. She's like, you just seem really preoccupied, because it was like right here, this fucking something. And I had the thought that was Sunday. Then Monday, I was like, this is not only the worst day of my life, this is the worst day of a life. Any life. And I also had the thought, I wouldn't wish this on Adolf Hitler.
That's an actual thought.
Actual thought.
Yeah.
Another actual thought. It was so disorienting. I was like,
and this is how many days after now? 4 or 5? A full week.
Yeah. There 70% of people that smoke DMT have a reactivation, like a flashback type thing. Most of them are short. Mine was not short.
What's considered short?
A couple
hours,
minutes.
Minutes.
Yeah.
You got days going on now.
Next day, I had the thought, I think I'll probably have to kill myself if this keeps up.
You really thought that?
Yeah. But the reason I didn't was because I knew I'd be going into more of it.
Oof. Kill yourself, and then you're just living in that shit.
Yeah.
So dying or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
existing.
So I just like and it wasn't suicide. You know what I mean? It wasn't despair. It wasn't depression. It was disorientation. Next day I was like I was 0.5% better. And I got like 0.5% better for, I guess that would be, not even kidding, 6 months.
What? That long, Neal?
Yeah.
Every day considering these things.
No, it got better.
Not so suicide, so to speak, but just
I got better. That was early November. December 20th, I go to the dentist. I do laughing gas.
Mm-hmm.
Back.
Wow.
White world. Like, and I'm like, I literally was like, hey, can we stop real quick? And I kind of had to get back in line, start back up. Around the same time, I'm on a plane falling asleep, turbulence, and my first thought is like, what am I? Like, it's pretty, and I'm doing my show. I'm walking down the steps to the stage going like, what is this? I know how to do this show, but I don't even know
Does it throw your timing or anything off?
Really. Not really.
What? Okay, so this is 6 months.
Yeah.
Are you doing ayahuasca during this at all now, or are you just staying off of everything?
We give it a rest.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Right. We're going to give that a rest. And I'm just trying to get like normal again.
Have you talked to doctors, or are you just shutting up about this?
I was convinced. I think I'm right. I knew I couldn't really talk to a therapist about this. I was so far.
I mean, unless they've literally gone through this, who the fuck can you talk about?
There are like grounding exercises you can do. There are things you can do, but I was so far out. I told a friend of mine, like, I was past the sun.
Damn.
I was
that thought,
but I'm still drinking, and I'm not drinking. Like, I'm still. You probably saw me.
I'm sure.
I didn't.
Well, I've watched your special. You were during that. You did this. Or you were going through this. During that. No,
I shot the special this year. So I basically shot the special 8 months later.
8 months.
So
but this lasted 6.
Yeah. So there was a window.
6 months is forever.
It was, dude, I couldn't watch sunsets. I couldn't watch the Apple TV screensaver. Those like crystal 4K shots of rocks.
It would start to send you into.
I knew. All right, so we all just blinders on. I'm just like, I got to get to Santa Monica, do my podcast, whatever. And then someone goes, isn't it crazy like that ocean's 500,000 years old? And you go, yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, nothing happens. I knew how I understood I can't explain it. Like, the blinders were off. And at some point I experienced, I think in the first couple days, I experienced interacting with the central creation force of the universe.
Oh my God. Dude.
And
you're over there talking to the main hub.
But it wasn't a person. It was like
whatever it is.
It was like a like black matte rock, for lack of a better word. And there was another person there. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, again, I don't know when I dreamt, I don't know what, but I was like, this is God. And they were like, yeah. And then both of our brains got like zapped. And I was like, what are you? What am I? Like, what is anything? And I'm going to chill talking about it because it was really hard. And so I slowly recovered. And again, you wouldn't have known. You wouldn't. I'm driving in normal shit, doing spots. And by the way, I'm crushing. Like, I'm doing great. So the weird thing is, I'm that thing that happened with my mind is now higher and firmer than it was even after that. Like, I'm never going to be depressed. Like, not even close.
Did you go back to meds?
No.
You're off your depression meds?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you feel good?
Yeah.
Do you regret DMT? Because I know this is probably an interesting question.
I don't. That's the thing. Given the, like, do I do it in time machine? Do I do it again? I don't think I do.
You don't.
Now, having said that, I'm better in every single way.
And that's where I wanted to really go, was like, do you feel the education you got from the DMT as far as, you know, how it's influenced you? Do you think that was worth it?
I am
or was
different
it terrifying
in my
every
body.
Day? You are.
My body is different.
What are you doing differently? Are you working out more?
Keto.
Are you?
No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, is there any dietary shit that comes with it?
Someone should do a podcast where there's a secret word that you have to say, and it's like a podcast word.
Keto's gonna get me new subscribers.
And then all right, we can go. Confetti falls. I just am. My mood is better. If
you eat fast food, do you feel it differently? You know what I mean? Are you more in touch with your body now? Or
not
more
like
mind?
that. It's more my understanding of life is different in that I now believe that I am a spirit that existed before 1973, and I'm in this body. I was born in 1990. I'm kidding. That I'm in this body temporarily.
Yeah.
And when I die, I'm going back to that white world. But I'm gonna
Do we come out as
understand it. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna terrify me.
Right.
That's what I think. That again.
I hear you, but let me ask you
nothing.
this. Me either. I know nothing, but I do believe what you believe. I believe we're just meat sacks.
Yeah.
Right now, until I'm trying to figure out the best way to be.
And I don't understand
thing.
why.
Me
that,
either.
One of my big questions when I do these ceremonies is like, why is my life the way it is? The good and the bad. And I don't think I'll ever. It's a fucking egotistical thing. What? But what's going on? But it's hard not to ask.
Sure.
And
now you say, have you done ayahuasca since at all? Or you
I
left
didn't
everything?
do it for a year. I did it 11 months after the DMT.
And how was that?
It was great.
It was.
Yeah, and I had things happen that had never happened before.
On ayahuasca?
On ayahuasca, yeah.
Do you think that was DMT related, those things?
I don't know. I mean...
Are you going to do DMT again ever?
I wouldn't do DMT if you offered me $1 billion with a B dollars.
Oh, wow.
Billion. Neal, you could feed a lot of people. Don't care. They got to start. I'm not doing that again. That's never going to happen again.
Country, yeah.
Yeah, like not.
Wow.
It's not going. I cannot do it again.
But ayahuasca, you would.
Ayahuasca, I literally done again.
But only once since, or
I've done
were you
it
doing
once
monthly?
since, but I schedule wise, I may do it like in April or May. Like,
okay.
I'm
very interested about the meds though, because I don't want to. I'm not telling. None of us are telling anyone to get off their meds. I'm just interested for you, really.
No, I'm kidding.
But
no,
I mean, but if
my
you
meds
can,
help me. The stuff I did prior to I did TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation. That helped me. Meds helped me. EMDR helped me.
Yeah, it was great.
A bunch of stuff helped
me out a lot.
So I can't sit here and say don't do
this
anything.
or that.
They all help me.
Mm-hmm.
But DMT helped me. I mean, all those things helped about 15%, and then DMT was like, we'll take it from here. 85%.
We got it.
And it was like, you've heard the story. It's like,
it scares the fuck out of me.
It's scarier than.
I'll never do it now.
It's so much.
Never.
Again, I did 5-MeO DMT, Bufo.
Yeah,
so it's got
still,
many names.
I don't care. I don't care.
Street name Bufo. It's and I talked to Rogan about this. They're legalizing all these things, and it's like, hey, just so you know, this is some Pandora's box like a motherfucker. Like, yeah, and cool, and it's like, I've seen people get possessed. Well,
salvia's legal. And people think salvia is, because it's not illegal, it's a practice version of weed, and it is.
Crazy stories about salvia.
Oh, I've had a guest come on that lived in a parallel universe for 8 years and started to believe that was his real fucking life.
It was 8 Earth calendar years, or they.
So at the end of it, it was 1 minute, 60 seconds, and it was 8 calendar years in that fucking world, and he counted it.
What did he get done?
He had a job at he moved to Tyler, Texas. He had a Volkswagen Bug. He originally had a family with children and cried every night. And then he was the guy at the grocery store telling everyone, I don't belong here. I have a family. And he became that guy that they thought was mentally challenged and, crazy and everything, until he finally had to tell people at the grocery store, I now know that my father, mother, and sister were killed in a car crash. And they were like, there's the guy we know and love. There he is. He is.
But by the way, that wasn't the guy.
At all. And then he woke up. And
1 minute.
1 minute later, but he had lived 8 fucking painstaking years in this alternate universe, missing his kids and his wife and kids. He said he couldn't stop hugging them and shit. They're like, Dad, he's been gone for a minute to them and then it starts to make you think about life and time and what time really even fucking. I mean, you spend 60 minutes, but it's 8 years there, and then you think
that's where
10 minutes of DMT is 80 years.
I believe
it's a lifetime.
I believe anything now.
Mm-hmm. Me too. That shifted me. It did.
Fucking crystals. Fuck it.
Yep. Go get out the Sedona and charge them up. Let's go,
crystals.
girl. I'm with you.
Crystals.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't.
Crystals.
Dude, I'm saying.
I know. All the shit we poke
you
fun
think I
at
don't
and
have
everything
crystals?
else.
You don't think I got some selenite in my house? I don't even know what to do with it. So the story I was like, I'll tell you the story later.
Yes.
This is just crazy. This is on Reddit. Someone sent me this. The question was, what's the craziest thing ayahuasca's ever told you to do? Ayahuasca presents as a woman.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like speaks to you. It hasn't happened to me, but it happens to lots of people. She will speak to you. And someone wrote, she told us to watch Neal Brennan's Netflix special. Okay. Someone sends me this. I go, so I DM the kid. I go, what do you mean? And he wrote back, did it happen to you too? It happened to 3 of us. 3 different people in an ayahuasca ceremony were told to watch my comedy. I DM the kid again. He hasn't responded.
Probably freaking the fuck out on me. You're putting real life on that now too. It's really Neal Brennan messaging me.
I didn't say who I was. I said it was like he's dating my sister. I had some very credible lie. Trust me. But shit like that happens all the time.
And it's still, things pop up like that too? You finding that?
Yeah. And
so ayahuasca, yes. DMT, fuck
yes.
no.
That would be my personal
That's what I'm
recommendation.
asking. Just Neal Brennan.
Mushrooms, yes. MDMA, yes.
Sure. For
me. Do you have my body?
But you don't smoke weed, do you?
No.
Or do you?
No, don't like it. Does nothing for me. So yeah, but I'm improved in every way.
Yeah.
Audiences like me more. People are like, what happened? Like, I'm lighter. I'm just lighter.
You feel it.
Yeah, other people feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it, but then other people say it before I say anything.
It's undeniable when a bunch of different people start coming up and all saying the same thing, you know. Like, I never thought I had an accent until I moved here. And it's undeniable that I have an accent.
No,
you know,
not in Baltimore.
No, not there. Statistically, though, bro.
Yeah. If that,
dude, this has been a fucking fantastic episode. It's answered a lot of questions I've had, both about DMT and ayahuasca. It's also, like I said, you pulled the stank off of it because you hear all these people like, let's go do ayahuasca. And I'm like, also, they're not doing it in any way like you did with someone who's there. You know, they're just fucking out there.
They're doing people that don't speak English, that don't have ceremony, that just go drink it and lay there. They're experiencing things that they don't understand around people that aren't equipped to do. The last time I did it, it's fucking insane, dude. Like, last time I did it, it's like hitting me hard, right? Like, really hard. And the shaman sent over a woman that does it's the tobacco thing, that mapacho it's called. That's the tobacco in Brazil. It's called mapacho.
That was a thing up your nose?
Yeah, but that's like ash. I think it's whatever. But she smokes a pipe and then blows into your crown chakra, your neck, and like, I was fucked up and I got like cleared.
Really?
Yeah. In 6 minutes. And then I looked at her and she was like, I just moved a lot of energy in you. Like, she was like, hold on to this, whatever. Like some herb. And I was like, okay. Like, my friend sat, the same ceremony. This is where I just sound like a fucking goofball.
But you don't. I know everyone feels like
so
they do. But
I'm literally on the medicine before the smoke woman came.
Mm-hmm.
The real woman who helped me with the mapacho ceremony. And I swear to God, my eyes are closed. Female spirit came up. And then my friend sat down, male spirit. I get cleared. And I look at my friend, I go, hey, you brought someone in with you. And she goes, yeah, it's my twin brother who died. And
Get
just
the
shit
fuck
where
out.
it's like, I don't even fuck with this.
Right.
Like, this isn't.
And if you said nothing about that, you don't get that answer either.
Of course not.
God
but like,
damn.
I don't know who this first woman was.
Twin brother who died. Shit.
Yeah. Like, she's like, he attached to me last night. It was her birthday.
Okay, so this is going to be a very interesting question. We're going to wrap up here, but now, this is your first time here, I ask everybody advice to give to their 16-year-old self. So, 16-year-old Neal Brennan's in the fucking throes of Catholic high school, literally a sophomore, probably around that time, sophomore, junior, And now, after everything we've just talked about with ayahuasca, DMT, all this stuff, what advice would you fucking give 16-year-old Neal Brennan?
Probably try to control your impulses more and like talk less and be less desperate. Like less desperate socially and interactively with people, like less. I told somebody that I always felt like I came into every interaction 20 points down and I had to like, and it's just like, dude, just, you're going to be good. It's the thing that shit works. It all works out in one way, shape or form. Like, it all is cool. So just chill out, work hard and pursue that. But like,
you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Great
fine.
advice.
You're not going to believe it,
Right.
but you may not feel fine, but I promise you're fine. I promise you.
That's great advice. Because you don't realize till you get older, like, who knows what the fuck bullshit that person carried into this conversation. You know what I mean? Everyone's going through their own filters of insecurities and uncertainties and all those things.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been a fucking fantastic episode.
Great.
Thank you very much. Plug and promote everything one more time. Again.
NealBrennan.com for the shows. No Charlotte. No Florida. No Ohio. And blocks on the podcast platforms and YouTube.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
It's a great episode.
Yep. Thanks for
really
having me.
appreciate it.
Glad I could do it.
As always, RyanSickler.com, Ryan Sickler on all your social media. We will talk to y'all next week.